Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, depending on. I guess it's up to you to download the show and listen to it at your own leisure, at either the morning time, nighttime, good what have you. It's another beautiful night here, or morning,
or afternoon,
and it could be shitty out. I don't know.
Okay, everybody, we are rolling. Just as a heads up with every one of my episodes, this is intended to be an entertainment/comedy podcast, and in no means is intended as an educational one. So with that being said, if you are easily offended at comedy shows, movies, any TV shows, or really any medium of entertainment, please don't listen to this. If you are incapable of occasionally hearing something that contradicts your views without outright or instinctually just getting offended, please don't listen. I'm heavily of the idea that everything and anything can and should be laughed at, as it takes away the power from those said ideas being able to affect people negatively or just harm you. With that being said, welcome to the MERC podcast, episode number 4, the Weight Watchers edition. Now, as far as just the movies, music, media section of this, just basically any type of entertainment that I've been consuming right now, I was able to go catch Spider-Man Far From Home recently. My consensus is that Spider-Verse is by far a better movie. Oh, and I'm sorry, I guess I should say it in regards to this, that Oscar award-winning Spider-Verse is better. Just I prefer that. That movie was just so much more better to me in the sense that they were able to do so many things that the live-action universe is either too afraid to do or just doesn't want to do for whatever reason because they might be scared. So, I mean, I guess shots fired or whatever. Multiple shots fired. That was the last one. But, I mean, the scene that just steals it for me all the time is just that finger point scene in the movie.
Whoa. What the?
I'm Spider-Man. I need you to come with me.
Who the heck are you?
I just told you that. Listen. I'm from the future.
How dare you point at me?
You were pointing first.
Rude to point.
You're being very rude. You're not even believing what I'm saying.
Which one pointed first?
Spider-Man pointed first, obviously.
You're pointing at me right now as you
pointing,
say that.
you're
Look
pointing.
at you.
I'm
Look
just
at your
pointing
finger.
at your pointing,
Look at your
which
finger
is
right
different
now.
than
What is
normal
it doing?
pointing.
You are pointing.
You
at
haven't
me.
seen
You're
pointing
accusing
until I
me
get
of
through with
pointing
you, and then
while
you'll
you're.
know.
And as I was saying, I mean, I feel that for me, Far From Home had one great moment, and we got to see J.K. Simmons back without going into spoiler territory and everything. Definitely worth the watch. So if you guys haven't already caught it, which is kind of stupid to say, everybody sees the Marvel movies nowadays, but go see that one. That was definitely fun to watch. Also, it's come to my attention that sometimes people don't know where to find good comedy, just whether that's a standard special or just good comedy in general, where everything is always so oversaturated when we're in need of content the leaders now in this society, as opposed to just content creators, says the content creator. But here's my take on what you should listen. Patrice O'Neal's Elephant in the Room. And as far as just good comedians go and good comedy, Hannibal Buress has made some amazing specials. Tom Segura is great, has an amazing podcast as well. Jim Norton, anything that he usually does is outrageously funny. And while we're talking about Jim Norton and Patrice O'Neal, any of the classic O&A clips that you're able to find just littered across YouTube, those things are amazing. Legion of Skanks, amazing podcast. Nick Mullen, crazy guy, but great podcaster and decent comedian. Tim Dillon, great podcast. Ian Edwards, amazing specials out there. You can listen to it on Spotify. His recent special just came out on Comedy Central on July 12th. Great work from Ian Edwards. Go check out his stuff. Bobby Lee, amazing podcaster, needs to do a special. And Bill Burr, of great specials, podcasts. Okay, he does tend to get a bit ranty, says the person who rants on his podcast. But we're going to be covering on gaming news right now. It seems that we are making this a regular recurring subject right now, where Pokemon Sword and Shield made the news again. We're keeping that in there because I'm not editing that. They made the news again, where Sword and Shield will have exclusive gyms. That's pretty much all I'm going to get into that because, I mean, well, so be it. At least that kind of gives me an excuse to buy one over the other or both of them. And Epic Game Store still sucks, apparently. They are having a lot of controversy with their refund policies, and it sucks when something that you hate is becoming successful just because it's popular. But that seems to be the case for Epic and their game store. Now, as far as just general news, we are just going to hop on to our Guess the News segment where we just basically do that without getting into too much detail unless something definitely catches my attention.
It's time for another edition of Guess the News.
I have to know more information. I shouldn't have read just this headline. From the headlines that I've read, this man is innocent. He is the victim.
Man, these guys don't know shit.
Alrighty. So with recent news, I'm generally one to never fall for peer pressure for a bunch of reasons. One, I guess it's my inner hipster that I try to suppress. Two, I'm inherently lazy, which is why this podcast is coming out so late. And three, I just don't want to be like the sheep of people that usually tend to do everything. With that being said, FaceApp. The app that everybody was doing stupid things just to see how old they can look for absolutely no reason. Turns out, my intentions were right. Without me really having any other intentions other than just being an asshole and not wanting to follow the crowds. But supposedly rushing back the app is stealing your information. So good luck on you people. Congratulations to succumbing to peer pressure. Remember, just don't do it if your friend is doing it, or especially if your coworkers and family is doing it, because that typically means that it's already lame. And onwards, in regards to just apps that are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, reportedly more than 1,000 Android apps are harvesting your data even though you have denied the permissions to do so. Strike against Android, I guess. But unfortunately, I mean, I guess that's where Apple might be a little bit better on that case. I don't side one way or the other in regards to this. Personally, on my case, I prefer Android phones just because they allow more flexibility for you to mess around with them, for you to do things that you probably shouldn't be doing in the first place. Plus, I mean, it's not like you can download torrents that easily on Apple anyways. Don't do that, people. I don't do that. I just know some people that do that. But, alrighty. So, reportedly, NASA wants to return people to the moon by 2020. I don't know. I mean, I feel like every time we talk about space news, it doesn't even seem relevant to me because we haven't even fixed the problems that we're dealing with here on Earth, but yet we're wanting to get everybody out of here to somewhere else where we don't even know if life can be sustainable or if there's any resources that would be able to keep us alive. But on to a story that caught my attention and made its way onto a couple of the podcasts that I listened to. Music teacher reportedly ejaculated into flutes, then takes photos of elementary schoolgirls playing them. So says the prosecutor. With that being said,
This is the end? Oh, we start late? Sorry.
Yeah.
There's still another 20 minutes?
There's way more than 20 minutes, Joe.
Oh, boy.
Fucking LA Joe, look at him.
There's
He's
40
getting into a
minutes.
meeting.
Oh, Jesus. What is it?
Right here.
It's
California.
a fuck of a story.
California music teacher 60 filmed himself ejaculating into flutes and photographed his female students playing them to fulfill his sick sexual fantasy.
Oh, well, hang on. Now. Sick.
Yeah, it's like, why you gotta
Don't
edit
call it
Twitter
sick.
Yeah, that's in the eye of the beholder.
That's also anybody. Look, whether you're sick or not, or you have a fucked up sense of sexuality or not.
Oh, was Danny Bonaducci? Bring that picture back up. Shut the fuck up, dude. The douche?
No matter what
The
way,
douche did this?
no matter what way you want to slice it, that's hot.
Oh, God.
It is. I mean, like, I'm not saying that you would do it. I'm just saying
Doesn't it?
I can understand why.
Wait, hold on. Pull the picture.
But I think they were very young.
Doesn't it look like he's covering his boner
Yeah.
with that drum?
Dude, that's gross.
See, I think she might be a little young. And I'm saying that.
All right. Now give me an A minor on that cum oboe.
All the flutes look like a rhino sneezing. Fucking disgusting.
Oh shit! Look at this dude sucking that flute.
I need 20 spit valves repaired.
Yeah. I've come on all the reeds.
So here's a bunch of guys testing out the flutes.
These guys love music and they love cum.
But don't you know when you put a flute to your mouth and you're just like, that's someone, this is jizz.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, what
it's
did
jizz.
what, did someone bleach this fucking instrument last night?
It's
No.
jizz. It's like, yeah.
Does somebody pour...
smells like,
Yeah.
Bob.
Oh, did somebody pour
So
salt?
do you, Ant.
Did somebody pour salt all over this thing, or did someone cum in it?
Yes.
Does somebody?
Everybody knows what jizz smells like.
Does jizz have a smell?
Yes.
Bleachy, dude. That's what I'm always told.
You've
It
never
smells
eaten.
like those pink flowery things on those trees.
Smells like the tree. You never eaten your jizz?
Yes, he has. Don't even ask. Of course he has.
Alrighty. So, of course, from the Legion of Skanks, they cover that better than I ever could, which we're going to be putting a couple clips of that episode in later on once we get to that segment. But Tour de France was currently going on for this week of whatever the hell this week was. Losing track of time here, guys. The week of July 7th. Actually, no, take that back. The week of July 14th. I can't believe we're still giving attention to bikers, motorcyclists, Jesus Christ, bicyclists, considering the fact that we've already known that sport is just so tainted. And I think it was reported that more than the top 20 athletes were caught doping, so you had to go past the first 20 of competitors that finished before you got to somebody that was clean. At that point, just give up on that thing, because people that are trying to do this with integrity, that's non-existent. Personally, I always am of the idea, while it's absurd, we should always have doped up leagues, because at least that's going to be a lot more fun to watch. Whereas the people that are a lot more Boy Scouts can always watch just the honest leagues. But that covers the Tour de France on that section. And we're moving forward onto wrestling. Monday Night Raw. Right off the bat, again, we start with action. A mixed tag match between Becky and Seth successfully taking on Almas and Vega. Then, later getting jumped by Corbin and Evans for their upcoming Extreme Rules match. The highlight of this segment is where they're laying on the ground, beaten. Paul Heyman walks out, Heyman teasing a possible appearance for Lesnar for the upcoming pay-per-view. Now, before I move further with any other wrestling news, I am going to mention this is fairly packed with a lot of wrestling news this week. So, if it does seem a bit brief, I do apologize. I just want to make sure that we can cover everything for you guys. Moving on next, we had the Usos. And let's see here. Mixed Company end up beating the Revival and Elias. Now, this was a 2 out of 3 falls match, which is the formula that they're doing so that we can squeeze in commercial breaks now. And 24/7 title, not so PG sketch about Drake possibly getting some, getting some in a backstage segment. Rey Mysterio makes his way to the ring. Rey unfortunately loses to Lashley in a match that he just had right there. Now, in regards to that, we have another segment with one of my personal favorites in the roster currently.
Yeah, buddy.
That being the Good Brothers. So we got Gallows and Anderson back, which they've been super consistent, and now we got heel AJ added to the mix in this as well. Now, No Way Jose makes his way to the ring, taking on once again Cesaro, which any week I get to see Cesaro in the ring, I'm happy. The dude's amazing at just everything that he does in there. Now, this ultimately ends up with Cesaro getting the win via submission by use of the sharpshooter. Shout out to TJ. And damn, Cesaro does respect his peers. He always seems to take something from everybody that he works with. And wow, we got another Street Profit segment, which I'm not sure what they're doing on the main roster, but I'm not complaining. I like those guys. Plus, I like to see more interaction with the non-main roster talent making the occasional appearance, just so we can see a little bit more of them. And looks like more Mike and Maria action going on. Good for them. They're at least able to get some screen time. So hopefully they can make things work out, even if it is a little bit awkward at first with most things that people tend to do in these segments, which typically involves Maria emasculating Mike. But let's see how that goes. And we go then to R-Truth in a segment searching for his 24/7 title. Currently, as he is not holding that title. The Viking War Battle Raiders, I'm sorry, I always have to poke a little bit of fun at that just because they kind of go crazy with that name.
Yeah, it's Battlefield!
Battlefield 3!
Out this week! Modern War Battles 5!
Some of you might not get that reference. But they were in a squash match with local talent. Now, as that happened, the 24/7 squad rolls through. Truth gets an odd confrontation with the Viking Raiders. And now we move on to the next segment. A setup for Ricochet versus Gallows. Backstage, we see Roman Reigns hyping up his segment for tonight for his upcoming action as well. Back to the ring, Ricochet makes his way to take on Gallows. We're getting a montage of what's been happening for the past few weeks, as we usually don't tend to have the attention span to remember most of this stuff. At least that's what some people think. Now we see Ricochet getting the pin on Anderson after he was able to beat Gallows. And lastly, AJ decides to jump in and just jump Ricochet. And this was truly a holy shit moment for me, because this was the first I ever heard of them even do something like this. The WWE was talking about Evolve, as they're going to be having their 10-year anniversary this coming Saturday. Wow. July 13th on the network, which will also be covered in just a second. Now, Truth is in a box and is now having a ref riding on his back, chasing for that 24/7 title. A bunch of CM Punk chants start during the match of Bayley and Sarah Logan, and a beat the clock challenge in which whoever wins gets to pick a stipulation for their upcoming match with Bayley. Ultimately, Nikki won this challenge when taking on Dana Brooke. So this is now going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match, with Alexa and Nikki taking on Bayley at the Extreme Rules match. And things keep on getting weird between Mike and Maria backstage. That basically covers that segment. And we get yet again another Street Profit segment. I'm just loving this. I mean, we're right now they're just trying to cover who is going to be Roman Reigns' mystery tag partner, as Shane has to pick that out for them. Spoiler alert, it was Cedric Alexander. Great we got to see him, because Cedric is incredible, and I always want to see people that tend to graduate from where they're from, in this case for Cedric being the 205 Live roster, doing something spectacular, which he was able to hold his own in a main event caliber, so good on Cedric. And now we're moving on to Smackdown, starting off with Dolph Ziggler trashing Kevin Owens, only to get interrupted by Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens just showing how superior he is at stealing moments when it comes to working on the microphone. A fight, of course, breaks out amongst them, and they get separated. which results in Owens getting kicked out by the man who makes these kind of noises. I'm sorry, I just love that drop. I mean, if you guys don't remember that, that was when Owens and Sammy just supposedly beat up Shane real bad in a segment, which just made him do that. So I'm gonna be dropping that in there whenever I can when I talk about Shane. Moving forward, hey, Finn Balor. It's been a while since we've seen him taking on Nakamura tonight, only to get interrupted again by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens then trashes Shane, and KO is just stealing the show with a killer promo and possibly turning face with this. And moving forward, I'm not one for promos, but I'm definitely more of just a straight kind of wrestling person. But damn, that was pretty good. Very happy to see what they could do with this. Hopefully they don't ruin it. Not to say that they will, but I always have my doubts. And we have an announcement that Aleister Black's mystery opponent for Extreme Rules is going to be none other than Cesaro later on in the night, which, damn, that is match of the night right there for me. Like, that is just going to be an awesome thing to see. And I definitely miss seeing Nakamura, and especially just such an amazing talent that he is, going to waste by not being used. I mean, when you think about it this way, the man elevated the IC title in New Japan to a status where people wanted to see that as opposed to the heavyweight title match. At least I did personally when I first started watching New Japan around the Wrestle Kingdom 9 days. I mean, that was the show stealer. Nakamura versus Ibushi. Go see that if you haven't. But the setup for this is a bit rushed, but let's just enjoy the magic between Balor and Nakamura. Now, a couple of picture-in-picture promos leading up to the match, and well, just intentional since, I mean, they made a Chaos drop, a reference to Chaos during this whole situation, which, I mean, I don't know if that was something that they planned out or something that they noted for them, but a little special nudge there for those NJPW fans. Nakamura ends up getting the win in this with some nasty aggression from him, definitely healing it up in this segment. So that might be something that we are to see leading up at Extreme Rules. And we have a Kofi segment covering his feud with Joe. Dolph involved in a backstage segment with Shane. And we see that Dolph is now aligning himself with Shane McMahon as he's going to face Roman Reigns in the main event tonight for Smackdown, with the support of Shane and crew, this being Elias and McIntyre. Now, we have a backstage pre-shoot with Samoa Joe hyping up the match for Extreme Rules. Back to the ring, we have Nikki Cross, as announced, representing herself and Alexa Bliss, as Alexa is not here at the moment. Then followed by Bayley in a contract signing for the 2-on-1 handicap match at Extreme Rules. This ended with Nikki taking on Carmella and Nikki getting the win over Carmella. Then we cut back to backstage where we have the Kabuki Warriors and the women's tag champs. Around the 1 or 2 hour mark, there was a flub in the New Day entrance. I'm sorry, the 1 hour and 2 minute mark. So if you wanted to catch that, if you recorded the whole thing live, you'll definitely check and see that they forgot to do the New Day entrance correctly. So hopefully we might get to see that on an episode of Botchamania soon. Now, they then get interrupted by Daniel Bryan and Heavy Machinery, and it's been about an hour or two into SmackDown. I'm sorry, it's been about an hour or so into SmackDown. We've only had 2 matches at this point, which was a bit odd, a bit light today. A lot of sexual innuendo for this one. Definitely a lot of sexual innuendo. And this is what I mean by that.
Tonight,
I have a triple threat match against one Daniel Bryan and Otis. Now. This Sunday, your boys, the New Day, have a triple threat tag team match of our own for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships.
Yes. Unfortunately, that isn't quite what I had in mind when I heard that I was going to be in a three-way this Sunday.
Sir!
Well?
Actually,
for the very first time, all three of us will be able to touch our championship tips together. Yeah! As we become your
1, 2, 3, 4, feel 6.
Now, when we return back from commercial break, we have a triple threat match between Xavier Woods, Daniel Bryan, and Otis. Chaos breaks up on the outside as Biggie and Tucker and Rowan go at it. Otis ends up picking the win on Xavier, which super unexpected, but I'm a fan of it. Let's see where that goes. And we have another segment as they build up on Kevin Owens. Backstage, we go to Mania, Sonya, and Ember, followed by Alistair, again backstage. And what happened to Bray? Really, what? It's been a couple weeks. I haven't seen him. I want to see him. Here's hoping they didn't forget about him. What happened to Bray? Says the person who already knows the events for everything leading up. Another vignette by Mustafa Ali. Whoops, I mean Ali now. As we see him talk about his times fighting for what's right. For sure, he's going to be a super, super babyface, which I'm a fan of. I mean, that guy definitely is able to get the sympathy for the crowd there. An interview with Aleister Black again, which, as mentioned earlier, reveals Cesaro as his opponent. Now, back to Shelton Benjamin backstage being asked a question about Roman and Dolph, and him choosing not to answer yet again. Not sure what's going on, but this is the second consecutive week that we were able to see Shelton Benjamin, and I'm happy with that. That's all I gotta say. Heyman randomly walks through the backstage segment for this, then followed by Xavier Woods being asked questions about Joe, and Roman Reigns versus Dolph begins. As Shane and company are at ringside, I will say that I'm happy to see Dolph in the main event. Highlight of the match is that Owens gives Shane a stunner to Shane. And that seems familiar. An anti-hero, anti-establishment, giving stunners to a McMahon with a Samoan super athlete supporting him, or also by company next to him. Reminds you of something, right? Now, this sets up for Owens versus Ziggler at Extreme Rules. Moving on forward, 205 Live. Opening of the match, we have Lorcan talking trash to Daivari right before a sneak attack happens, in which Daivari ends up, of course, attacking Lorcan. As this happened, they're broken up, and they are scheduled to have an Anything Goes match. Kendrick comes out to the ring to face Sunil Singh, half of the Singh brothers. In this match, we find out that Drake Maverick is immune to the 24/7 ruling, as he is currently the 24/7 champ. So in the hour of 205 Live, he doesn't have to worry about defending that. So cool. Let's see how long that stipulation lasts. Kendrick ends up picking up the victory by submission via Captain's Hook. Shortly thereafter, Kendrick gets a jump by the other half of the Singh brothers and is then saved by Akira Tozawa. We get an Humberto Carrillo hype video package. This kid truly has it all. Let's hope that he gets his due in the future. I mean, has an amazing voice, an amazing body, and just incredible athleticism. He's pretty much the full package at this point. Let's just hope again that he gets his due. And Gallagher makes his way to the ring as he takes on local talent, showing off his technical abilities. And we see Gallagher perform a Paradise Lock on his opponent. This match then gets interrupted by Mike Kanellis, and who then gets removed by the ring by Drake Maverick. Gallagher picks up the victory via pinfall after delivering a sick headbutt to his opponent. We move backstage to a segment between Mike and Maria, Mike and Drake, in which he announces that he's going to fine Mike for his actions tonight. On to the main event, Lorcan versus Daivari. A heavy hitter of a match. Lorcan gets the pin via superplex into 2 tables, and I mean, this was just a truly, truly amazing match for 205 Live, and because we had a broken table. We end the show for 205 Live with a video package from Gulak taking on Nice for Extreme Rules. On to NXT. Io Shirai comes out and gives a promo. And, I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect from Io Shirai. I wasn't quite too sure how good her English was, but, I mean, she did perfect. Because all she said was, I don't need any friends and I don't need any of you. Well, there it goes. The person who supposedly speaks English can't even remember that quote. But, that being said, she is doing amazing at doing this heel stuff. So, let's hope and see that this pays out for her and see where this takes her eventually. The Breakout Tournament. My boy ACH is now going against Jordan Miles. Well, I mean, why? I don't know why they had to change his name, but I mean, sure, let's go with it. Either way, ACH, or just Jordan Miles, ends up picking up the win over Boa. And that was just after an incredible 450 splash. Damian Priest ended up also taking Blanco Loco. His name is Blanco Loco. Hold on, guys. I got a special one for this one.
Nice catch, Blanco Nino. But too bad your ass got sad.
So that's pretty much what happened. Damian Priest picked up the victory over Blanco Loco. And this was definitely a squash match. Damian Priest ended up hitting a crossroads for the victory. So we'll see where that goes. Main event. Tag title match. With the champ Street Profits taking on Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. Winner by pinfall. After a frog splash by Ford was the Street Profits. I'm calling that match of the night. That's an easy call. I feel like it. So, on to NXT UK. We're just moving on again straight with the results on this one. Dragunov defeated Ashton Smith via pinfall. NXT UK Women's Champ Toni Storm defeated Candy by pinfall, which then resulted in Kaylee Ray attacking Candy Floss to set up for a feud with Toni Storm. Trent Seven comes out to say that as a result of the attack by Imperium, Tyler Bate is out of the picture with an injury. Mark Andrews accepts a challenge from Cassius Ohno, and the team of Gallus, consisting of Mark and Joe Coffey with Wolfgang, took the victory via pinfall against their match with the Hunt, consisting of Wild Boar, Primate, and Dave Mastiff. On to the weekend of events. We have the Evolve 10-year anniversary, which had a very homely indie show vibe, like your local shows, but a tad bit more on the production. Gotta give that nod to WWE on that one. Definitely added their touch to it. Personally, I enjoy being able to see and hear about people that I've been able to just work with personally, shook hands with, and speak with them, like AR Fox in this case, having his name mentioned in the WWE Network, especially after just having a couple shows with them for the school that I'm working with. I mean, dude's amazing. Dude's awesome. Definitely go catch him if he ever is in one of your local shows, or if you're ever able to catch him on anything. Just incredibly gifted and athletic. Now, we have Josh Briggs picking up a pinfall victory after a powerbomb to Anthony Green for the first match of the show. Sean Maluta versus Kurt Stallion, Stephen Wolf, and Harlem Bravado. In this fast-paced match, Stephen Wolf ended up picking up the victory via pinfall after delivering a shooting star press. Arturo Huas and Antonio Hendry end up going at it, in which Huas picked up the victory via pinfall again after delivering a spin kick to the face. Brandy Lauren and Shotzi Blackheart ended up going at it as well, with Lauren, with the help of her friend and a kendo stick, was able to get the win on this one. Kobe Carino and Babatunde went at it also, in which Bombatoon, they got the victory on this one. And the Unwanted taking on AR Fox and Leon Ruff for the Evolve Tag Team Championships. Whoops. Now, this match was so much fun to watch. Definitely a candidate for match of the night. But after a 450 splash from Leon Ruff to Kingston, this resulted in a pinfall, and now we have new champs. So, congrats, AR Fox. Seriously, congrats to you and Leon Ruff. And personally, my pick for match of the night, Drew Gulak taking on Matt Riddle, which I believe this would be the second or third time that they've done this. Riddle, however, ended up keeping things consistent as he is leading this rivalry on the wins. He was able to reverse a Gulak and changing this into a pinfall victory. Definitely a fun match, at least in my opinion. We then had Austin Theory taking on JD Drake for the WWN and Evolve Championships. Wow, that's 2 times in a row. Austin Theory ended up picking up the win after hitting his Atixia finisher. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. To win now both the WWN and Evolve Championships. Adam Cole, for the main event of the night, ended up taking on Akira Tozawa for the NXT Championship. Close second for me as far as match of the night. Favorite moment of this match was that we got to see Tozawa hit that beautiful snap German suplex. However, Cole was still able to hit his last shot and retain during this match. We now move to Fight for the Fallen, where we have Sonny Kiss versus Peter Avalon. Sonny was able to get the victory on this one via pinfall after delivering a splitting leg drop. I was never able to see Sonny Kiss before, but that dude's awesome. I love what he's doing right now, and I can't wait to see more of him. We then got to see Britt Baker and Rio taking on Bea Priestley and Shoko Nakajima. Nakajima was able to capture the victory via pinfall after delivering a step-up enziguri to Rio. We then move on to the first match of the official show, as that was the pre-show, with Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela versus Shawn Spears, MJF, and Sammy Guevara. Plenty of we're still keeping that in there, folks. Plenty of fast-paced action in this one. Shawn Spears was able to score a pinfall victory on Darby Allin after hitting a running Death Valley driver. Super fun way to start the show. Then we move on to Allie taking on Brandy Rhodes, which resulted in Brandy picking up a victory via the assistance of Awesome Kong being involved in this match as well. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, along with Marco Stunt, were taking on Angelico and Jack Evans versus the Dark Order. The Dark Order, well, Angelico and Jack Evans are the Dark Order. No, wait, I got that wrong. Son of a bitch. I'm still keeping that in there. It was Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy taking on Angelico and Jack Evans and the Dark Order, which resulted in the Dark Order defeating Jungle Boy. There we go. Hangman Page versus Kip Sabian. After a rite of passage to Kip Sabian, Hangman Page was able to secure a pinfall victory, but then shortly after this was attacked by Chris Jericho, delivering a Codebreaker and a Judas Effect, which resulted in a bloodied up Page from this exchange. The Lucha Brothers took on SoCal Uncensored, which resulted in the Lucha Brothers picking up a victory after a package pile driver for a pinfall victory, and have issued out a challenge to the Young Bucks at All Out. We'll see how that one goes. Kenny Omega ended on taking on Chima. By far, one of the more amazing matches of the night. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys might agree if you saw this one. A lot of back and forth, a lot of close calls, but Kenny was still able to hit his one-winged angel to get a pinfall victory. Chris Jericho had an open mic segment in which he's still demanding his thank you. And that's pretty much that. There was more, but that's what stuck out to me. Cody and Dustin are taking on the Young Bucks now. Cody was on the receiving end of a Melter driver, thus letting the Young Bucks pick up a pinfall victory on him. And now we're moving on to New Japan Pro Wrestling, Day 2 of the G1 card. I'm just gonna outright state it right here. I already have my pick for match of the night. I'll go ahead and tell you this in just a second. But we have LIJ consisting of Evil, Sonata, and Bushi, defeating Kota Ibushi, Will Ospreay, and Yuya Uemura. Moving on forward, we had the Bullet Club consisting of Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens defeating Suzuki-gun, consisting of Lance Archer and Yoshinobu. And Kenta, Clark Connors, and Carl Fredericks defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shota Umino, and Ren Narita. Suzuki-gun's Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki, props, I love those two, defeated Chaos, which consisted of Okada and Yoshihashi. So that was the tag segment of this. Now on to the first match for the B block. We had Juice Robinson defeating Shingo Takagi. We had Jon Moxley defeating Tai Chi. Close call for match of the night. In my opinion, it's a tie for me in this day. Then we had Toru Yano defeating Tetsuya Naito, which for me, I mean, honestly, that's again the second candidate for match of the night right there. It was short, it was sweet, it was amazing. I love those type of matches. Then we had Ishii defeating Jeff Cobb in what was a hard-hitting match. And finally, Goto defeating Jay White. Now we're moving on to Extreme Rules. Wow, 40 minutes in and we still haven't finished all of the wrestling for this podcast. We had the IC champ, Finn Balor, taking on Nakamura. Winner and new champ, Nakamura, by pinfall after delivering a brutal Kinshasa to the back of Finn's head. Let's hope that Nakamura can do to this IC title what he did to the IC title in New Japan and just elevate it to a standard where we want to see that every single time that he's around. And onwards to the Cruiserweight Championship match, Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese. This was one of my picks for match of the night for sure, as I'm a big fan of Gulak and the 205 Live roster. Gulak was able to secure a pinfall victory in this match, with now the question as to who will be next in line for him. And I can't wait personally. I'm having fun with this. And as far as the next segment, we had Roman Reigns and The Undertaker versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. Undertaker ended up picking the win on this one via pinfall after delivering a tombstone to Shane. And as Undertaker once said in this infamous segment,
rest in peace.
All right. And Raw Tag Team Champs, we have the Usos taking on the Revival. The Revival being the current champs for Raw. They ended up retaining this one by hitting a Shatter Machine to Jey Uso. Aleister Black versus Cesaro. And again, for sure candidate for match of the night as well. If they didn't have to follow the formula, for sure this would be a main event match. I would place this in the main event for the card anytime. The end result was Aleister picking up a pinfall victory after delivering an amazing Black Mass to Cesaro. On to the handicap match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley retained. Last man standing match between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. Strowman ended up winning this one. A triple threat match for the SmackDown Tag Champs, consisting of the current champs Daniel Bryan and Rowan taking on the New Day of Big E and Xavier and Heavy Machinery. As a result of this match, we now have a 6-time tag champs with the New Day, as they got the pinfall victory on Daniel Bryan nonetheless by delivering the Midnight Hour. The United States Championship match, onwards and moving forward to the next match here, we had Ricochet and AJ Styles, as AJ was accompanied by the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And by the way, Gallows, thanks for the follow on Twitter. I'm sure that was a mistake, but let's go with it, and I hope you don't find out and unfollow me one day. I personally love this match, as the heels were being heels and the babyfaces were being babyfaces. But I want a slow burn for this one and a huge payoff as a result. The conclusion of this match gave us a new champ in AJ Styles after hitting a second rope Styles Clash. We then move on to Kevin Owens taking on Dolph Ziggler, in which this was probably by far the quickest match of the night, in which Kevin Owens ended up picking up a victory by delivering a stunner to Dolph Ziggler. And again, I'm not quite too sure why the stunner, but I mean, I'm personally not complaining. I mean, the only thing I gotta say to that is just
What?
it pretty much, right? Then we have the WWE Championship match of Kofi Kingston taking on Samoa Joe. Kofi retained after hitting the Trouble in Paradise. I still can't believe we're in a world where we get to say this and still we're WWE Champion Kofi Kingston. Last match of the night. This was a Extreme Rules, quotation marks, mixed tag match for the Universal title and the Raw Women's title. Highlight of this match, Becky took an end of days from Corbin. You don't see that kind of stuff happening in WWE. But ultimately, Becky and Seth retain. And this ended up in, of course, the most popular thing to do that all fans would approve of. And nobody would have absolutely zero complaints about. Because we all love the man. We had Brock Lesnar show up and cash in. And he is now, once again, our Universal Champ. Yeah. Alrighty. Now, in other wrestling news, wrestling-related news, Moxley made an appearance in just casually talking to a couple comedians over on the Store Horseman podcast, hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe and his good group of buddies, which I don't remember right now, but just listen to the podcast. It was a good one. Just Moxley being casual Moxley and talking to the guys. And here is a sample of that.
Hey.
Hold on a second.
Rolling over.
All the way to the left. Our man, the Golden Pony, Tony Hinchcliffe. What's
Hello,
up,
everybody. Let's do it again. Let's have some fun here this evening. We have a special guest in studio. We're excited.
Indeed. In the corner, keeping notes, keeping the stats. The evil genius Eddie Firth right there. Drink single beer tonight for some reason. Johnny Scortis, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
All right, look. You're on Facebook Live. You see it. You know what's going on. John Moxley's in the building, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, dude? What is going on?
Hey. I thought you were just going to skirt over brother here for a second.
No, we got him.
I had a whole speech ready to defend him. Can't just skip him.
You're a defender of the micless. I love that.
I love it. Yeah. Well, welcome. This is your first time at the Comedy Store, right?
Yeah, it is, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. I am humbled to be here, man. And the Comedy Store is the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the mecca of it's the holy grail.
Better believe it.
Comedy right now. It's the place to be. So it's cool to be here.
It really is.
Yeah.
We got you set up. You're going right into the show after this, right into the main room.
Yeah, excited to laugh. I love to laugh.
Heck yeah.
You'll be over it.
I'm a little intimidated hanging out with comedians. I don't have any comedian friends. So
Really?
I feel like if I had one comedian friend, by default, he would be the funniest guy that I know.
Yeah. Actually, he'd probably either be the most depressed or annoying.
Yeah.
I can see that, too.
I got news for you, buddy. You got, I think, 5 or 6 new comedy friends already since you arrived here. We're going to make sure you walk out of here with a Comedy Store T-shirt. It's basically like the NWO of comedy.
Basically.
Cool. Well, I mean, what I'm saying is I feel like you guys must be just laughing all day.
Yeah.
All,
Or crying.
Yeah, but in between nervous breakdowns.
The switch is pretty crazy. It's high highs and low lows. And
I can see that. That's a good way to live life, though, man.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, we're pretty much done for the wrestling news. On to the slice of life in my life currently. Recently learned how to give a few moves as opposed to just taking them and being the crash test dummy. I mean, I got no complaints. You got to learn how to take the moves before you can give them out. I feel like it. And I gotta stay humble when I say learn. I mean more so tried them, but need to try them 5,000 more times before I can actually do them right, because personally I just feel like it's never perfect, it's never right, it can always use more improvement. And I was able to ref for the first time recently. I had my first actual paid gig over in Mineral Wells, Texas, and man, that was awesome. To just be able to ref with a fellow student of mine over in Mineral Wells. Now, we were able to get to the venue successfully, so that was interesting, and it was formerly a school in the segregation era for non-white students in the area, and that was a pretty bizarre venue itself. I mean, it was cool, but just the history behind it was just wow. That was pretty interesting. Now, as a student that just started in April, I can't believe that I already got to be a part of something like this to this capacity. I had some audio recorded with my classmate, but unfortunately it got corrupted when I was trying to put this in here. But we pretty much just covered everything but the gig. Above all else, our interest in the recent Bob Lazar documentary and his appearance in the JRE, which if you haven't already caught those two, check it out. I'm not a conspiracy theorist myself, but I mean, it's definitely just an entertaining thing to check out. While working on this podcast, I went to the to a campus of a school that I was a former student in, UNT, and taking a future student, that being my younger brother, for his orientation, as they wasted both of our time from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on a Saturday, when they could have just did the smart thing for this current day and age and just sent a video, giving them a video tour of the goddamn campus and having them fill out the forms online, as opposed to just making people waste their time. Now, I know that people are going to make the argument, well, that's not the same. Nobody cares. No, nobody cares. College is at this point pretty irrelevant. Most of the people don't ever get to use their degrees anyway, so just let's make this experience is minimally bothersome as possible. But the reason I'm a little bit irate, never before have I ran into a profiling situation. I feel like I'm generally not a target for profiling. But not just once, but this happened multiple times where the staff is just a bunch of assholes. I'm there minding my business, working on this podcast quietly with some headphones. Mind you, not like the jackass that are blasting their music in the other parts of this area. In the waiting area where I'm supposed to be, after a while where I'm asked to move, I did calmly. Then this happened 3 more times. Never more have I sympathized with people that get poked and just snap at somebody in violence. But unlike most of those people, I myself am not ready to go back to jail. Not back to jail. Go to jail in general. So that being said, the staff at UNT, you guys suck. Specifically the Dallas campus. I hope the staff gets retrained and learns to actually mind their own business and bother those that aren't bothering you. Stop doing that. I wasn't even doing anything. And make the smarter decisions and not to waste people's time. We're not in the 90s anymore. Go ahead and catch up to the modern era. Send the video whenever you can, or send the PowerPoint if you even want to do that, instead of wasting our time and making us drive over to campus for dumb things like that. Now, with that being said, I was bitter. Here's some comedy. Let's laugh and enjoy this segment moving forward.
Mm-hmm. You have doctor-patient confidentiality, so you can't get canceled.
Like, listen, we thought your son had Tourette syndrome, but it turns out he's just racist. Yeah, often they're very similar.
He's just pedophile ring, the Delaware pedophile ring going.
Mm-hmm. The Bo's Boys is his charity he started.
In memory of his dead-ass son.
My dead-ass son always told me numerous times he wanted, I can't do Biden, but he always wanted to be one of the pedophile leagues.
He said, Dad, if you ever become president, then we'll get to go to the island.
You know what's funny? All these people are going to be like fucking outed, right? You know, like Bill Clinton, they're going to get all of them. And, I mean, they won't, obviously, all these people.
Yeah,
go free.
they're going to, if anything, they're just going to kill Epstein.
Yeah, right. There's just, all the documents are mysteriously sealed. There's going to be 2,000 pages unsealed, and then it's going to be like, oh, and it exonerates everyone.
Yeah.
And all the pages.
And Epstein killed himself in prison.
Epstein killed himself in prison, and all this says is that Alan Dershowitz is a goody good boy. He's never done anything fucking bad ever. And,
Epstein and 42 former child models all committed suicide last night.
Right, yeah. So, like in fucking 50 years is like whatever the current iteration of rap is. there's gonna be like a rap super group called like Pedophile Elite. You know, it'd be like Puff Daddy, Jay-Z, AZ, Cormega.
Cormega's gonna be in the mix.
Yeah, Mega Pedophile Elite, Jeffrey Epstein, the black. They call me the Black Jeffrey Epstein.
Black Epstein.
The Black Jeffrey Epstein.
Don't let these white people molest your children.
Yeah,
keep it in the community. Molest your own children.
Molest your own damn kids. I'm just John Q. I'm just trying to molest my own boy. There's a guy at like some like Black Panther event or whatever. I don't know. He's like a time traveler or something.
Yeah.
And then he like, I don't know. Now I fucked all this up. I was gonna.
I like that there's a time travel element.
Well, I was gonna do the thing from Back to the Future where like the guy's like, "Hey, Chuck Berry, there's a new sound or whatever."
Yeah.
But it's a black guy calling his cousin. He's like, "Hey, Adolf, it's your cousin, Jimmy Hitler." No, something like that.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Real quick before we move on from pedophilia, I had Chris Tucker, because he's wrapped up in all this shit, isn't he?
Yeah, Chris Tucker. Well, it's a different
By
Chris Tucker.
accident.
When a girl, here's what he says: when a girl on the island tells him she's underage.
Yeah.
I can't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. And
That's
she's just
good.
like, I'm not 18.
Yeah.
What? So thank you. That's
Well, because Chris Tucker's on the plane or whatever, or he's on those flight logs, but it's a different Chris Tucker.
It's like, no, please let people think. Oh, hi.
That we're not capable
Of anything.
Yeah. May I suggest being a fat woman? Because that's a double whammy.
Dude, I'm trying. Dude, I try. I eat so much and I just can't gain weight. I try.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about that expression, it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have to deal with fat ladies all the time, and it's like, oh, I guess it's the end of the world. So it's almost over.
There's a symphony.
I hear nothing but a cacophony of fat women just screaming constantly. It must mean that that's the end of America.
Dude, how dare you one-up me with cacophony?
I
said symphony, dude.
Yeah, but it's not a symphony. It's a cacophony.
Maybe to your ears.
To my ears. It's
but to
music
others,
to
it's
yours.
beautiful.
It's pretty much always Colonel Mustard.
Oh, yeah. Who was it? Well,
Colonel Mustard loves busting, dude.
Bust that mustard.
Colonel Bustard.
I've got a spicy mustard.
Yeah.
Colonel Bustard.
Yeah, that's my new pickup line. I go up to women in bars. I go, "What up, bitch? My name's Colonel Bustard, and I got a clue for you." And then I point down, and my dick is completely hard.
It's completely out, you said?
Yeah, it's out and hard.
Hard, covered in mustard. That's good, brother.
Yeah. They call me Oscar Mayer because I'm admiring your vagina. Like Oscar the Grouch. Because I'm pissed off like Oscar the Grouch. Because I'm not fucking right now.
Hell yeah.
Just reading it all out of a notebook.
You have note cards like you're giving a presentation.
You're prepared pickup lines.
Not making eye contact with her once.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any truth to the fact that your penis was exposed and covered in mustard at the time? I do not recall that specifically. He's whispering to my lawyer. I do not recall any of that specifically. No, I'm not denying it. I say I do not recall. This deposition is over. Thank you. And I get up from the table, and on the video camera, you can see my penis is still out with the mustard on it.
Yeah. You try and do it to the bailiff.
Yeah.
There's a mustard trail behind you.
Yeah. At which point, the defendant referred to himself as Colonel Buster. He said, "I am retarded for busting." In the army.
Welcome to your mom's house.
What is this here? McDonald's. Cheeseburgers.
McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Fillet of fish.
McDonald's. Chicken nuggets.
McDonald's. Fries.
Free McDonald's all the time. Free McDonald's all the time. Free McDonald's all the time.
You got a McDonald's, nigga?
Burgers.
Fillet of fish.
Burgers. Chicken nuggets. McDonald's. Cheeseburgers.
McDonald's. Fillet of fish. It's so good.
It's so good. Thanks, McDonald's.
Thank you, McDonald's. Is a happy meal for a boy or a girl.
Yeah, what's up with that? Why don't you pick your own pronoun?
And the nuggets. I love the nuggets. When's the last time you had a big one?
Men.
Welcome to your mom's house.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, listen, if I'm fucked up, you got good pussy, and I bend you over there 69, you eat your ass from behind, and it's got wang to it. You think I'm gonna tap you and go, Christine?
No.
You got wang in your ass. I'm a soldier. I gotta eat it with that wang.
I do my thing, but you know what I'm saying? I don't, you know.
I have a vague idea what you're talking about.
This motherfucker got a sword. Okay, Mr. Sword. He got his sword.
Shit, motherfucker got sword.
Chillin' at your mom's house. Tell you that he better watch out. Pull up, I'ma pop out. Crazy looks, the motherfucking knockout. Real stuff. Chillin' at your mom's house. Tell you that he better watch out. He pull up, I'ma pop out. Crazy looks, the motherfucking knockout. No, say you know what I mean and you know what I'm saying.
No, the hell we don't. You ain't say anything yet.
You know what I mean and you know what I'm saying.
Don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you mean.
When you're riding on bikes, stay in your own lane. When you see me in the streets, say what's up, Kane. Got off of the phone with the top dog, no block call. Using big words. It's probably your mom's fault.
You wanna fuck with my money, huh?
Shit, probably not. Spitting Molotovs, and all you other motherfuckers falling off. We rockin' denim and like, what's up with the jeans?
What's with the G? What's with the G?
We high and tight, you low and loose, and got fucked up seams. Need my pockets deep, trying to stack this cash. Till my billfold won't fold twice as fat as Bert Kreischer's ass.
Bert Kreischer's fat.
You can't vocalize, you a local guy, you got vocal fry when you rap on a track like it ain't no surprise. With the wax and the ping, got me feeling like a motherfucking vape dad. Put some respect on my name. Word to the Birdman.
The Birdman.
And I don't need no direction at all. Feeling like Steven Seagal. They say LinkedIn's helpful, shit, it ain't been helpful at all. And that's deep, bro. Word to Christina P. You know where I'm at, right the fuck where I need to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Chillin' at your mom's house. Tell you that he better watch out. Pull up, I'ma pop out. Crazy looks, the motherfucking knockout. Real stuff. Chillin' at your mom's house. Tell you that he better watch out. Pull up, I'ma pop out. Crazy looks, the motherfucking knockout. No, say you know what I mean and you know what I'm saying.
No, the hell we don't. You ain't say anything yet.
You know what I mean and you know what I'm saying.
Don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you mean.
When you're riding on bikes, stay in your own lane. When you see me in the streets, say what's up, Kane.
When you hear that bomb blast, get a shot blast. Listen to the podcast, it's all up in your mom's ass. Big J kills them like O.J. Simpson. A quick, if the fingerless blood don't hit, get break quick by that big dick Dave Smith. He all up in your ribs while he talking politics. Or get bit when you rattled by that Puerto Rican snake. They natural born killers, legion of skanks.
Bobby! 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 Bobby!
Of course.
I want a hair gesture.
Yeah.
I want like tits up like this.
You've been goosed ever since that. Ever since you crowd surfed, which
Let me tell you
we
something.
gotta talk about.
I almost quit the business. That was the greatest fucking feeling
Yeah.
I've ever had. And to look down and see people's faces, just panic.
Yeah.
I saw this. I remember this one redhead girl. I can't get her out of. She looked like a fucking meteor was coming to Earth. Just
Yeah. It's gotta be terrifying.
Of course, hernia surgery went up in Brooklyn by 110%.
So funny. Somebody kept poking my little belly button hernia, sir, when I was up there.
Oh.
Someone stuck their finger right into my intestines.
Finally, some sex.
You know that voice, everybody.
And natural born killers, Legion of Skanks.
Has tagged Bobby in every fucking other post in his
Oh,
life.
yeah,
The last
yeah.
fuck. I don't know what he's like, this guy right here, and I'm like, how does this
And
never
it's
come up?
thousands of
How has this never come up with me and Bobby before ever?
Because I want his Instagram when he yells at Eleanor. It's so disturbing.
It's great, though.
It's the fucking greatest shit
funny.
ever. I love Eleanor. She's funny, too.
2 weeks ago, someone said to Dice, "Hey, there's something called social media. I'll put videos."
Yeah,
Now
I'll do it.
Every fucking day, there's got to be 10 videos. They're hilarious.
It's him tearing Eleanor down.
Yeah.
You call
Oh,
this
yeah.
pizza?
No, he goes, girls don't have Cheez-Its. They're for men. And she's like, what the fuck?
It's every little thing. He pounds her. What are you doing? Left foot before the right one? It's crazy.
He goes, your hair's in a bun. I told you not to wear the bun. And the guys at the gym are looking at him like, why? What the fuck is wrong with this?
Do you need
help?
down?
Do you need help, ma'am?
How often do you need to blink?
Oh, how many times an hour are you gonna blink?
Will
Dummy.
Dummy.
Will you
You piece of shit.
I'm sorry to ask this. Will you do, please, will you do Andrew Dice?
DeRosa's hammered.
I'm excited for the question, though,
Just, you're a
because
fucking professional broadcaster.
Listen,
And natural born killers, Legion of Skanks.
Going out to Hauppauge, New York.
I'm not applause.
This one is Rick Springfield.
I'm not applause hunting at all, but the funniest radio bit in the
Exactly.
world ever to me
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Dice Gets Religious. Is the greatest fucking radio
Andrew
bit.
Dice Clay gets
Well,
fried Jesus.
You mean where I saw the footprints in the sand and I said, hey, Jesus, you piece of shit. This is the hardest times of my life. There's one set of footprints. I'm alone. You fucking asshole. And he goes, nah. Those are the times I carried you. I said, you touched me, you faggot.
I don't give a fuck who the Lord is. Keep your fag hands off me.
Thank you, you fucking asshole.
Do Andrew Dice Gay, please. Please.
So we had the Pride thing over the weekend, and I'm just as sympathetic to the faggots as anyone. Don't get triggered.
Shit.
It's a bad word. What are you going to do? It was Dice, though.
We should go see
I
him.
didn't like Mr. Amos does in character.
And natural born killers, Legion of Skanks.
That was a blast.
Well, for everyone,
Skank
thank you to
yourself.
everyone who came to fucking Skankfest, man. That was incredible.
What a fucking great time.
Unreal.
What a great
Unreal time. The minute I walked in the first day, I was like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
we
bring and we're not even gonna talk about it because it's not even worth addressing on the show. But fuck everyone who was pissed off Louis came. Suck a dick. That was a great comedy festival.
What a beautiful moment in comedy, man.
Everyone there loved it.
Dude,
fuck you.
The fucking staff of that club, who was apparently terrified to stop it. Where the reason they were terrified, I guess, is because they were jumping and cheering in the back of the room. Yeah.
It sounded like
when
a
Louis walked
school
on
shooting
stage.
description he gave. He's like, Louis came in the side door. It wasn't quick enough. We couldn't stop it.
He flanked us from the east.
Louis flanked us.
Yeah, he came in 20 clicks due north.
Yeah, it was an incredible thing, and to be honest with you, it was pretty. I mean, I said this on Realized Podcast as well, but the only reason that he even got up on stage was because he got there and the vibe was so
felt
cool.
the fucking energy,
He wasn't
man.
booked. He wasn't like he showed up.
He
to hang.
for the first hour he was there said, in fact, he was not going on.
Yeah.
He goes, no, I just want to come hang out and support you guys.
And then who didn't say, you're here, motherfucker. You don't go up, I'll kill you.
Dave.
Oh, that
Of
must
all
have been
people, Dave.
Was that Dave?
Yeah, it was Dave
I thought it was one of you
I
three.
will hold the door closed while I jerk off in front of you. If you don't get on that
Are
stage.
you ready for that, motherfucker?
Next year at Skankfest, we jerk off in front of Louis.
That'd be a fucking ballroom show, dude. That'd be the main room.
Yeah.
Just a bukkake of Louis by all the comics. Laying ropes on his fucking ginger chest and face.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He wants it.
He's back in now. Just shame.
Is it the ultimate?
Shame.
Would that
shame.
be? Yeah, shame. Shame.
But I'll say also, guys, go to gas station.
It's the Real Ass Podcast. It's your boy Louis J. Gomez.
Where's Rattlesnake, Real Ass Dude, Ultimate Minority, Joint Jet of Comedy. I got a lot of names.
So what did these women do on the, what's the thing?
So here's what happened when they were celebrating when they won. This is it. So, all right, pull it back for a second. So they got excited. She has the American flag, and she just says, "Fuck you, America." Look at that. Look at it. She wants to shit on it. She was going to shit on it, and that girl moved it out of the way before she took a dump on the American flag. Look at that.
Is it?
Right there.
Wow, is that what she's doing? Or
No,
is she just
no,
like,
she got
move this so I
excited.
don't step on it?
No, obviously. She got excited.
Yeah, she put it down.
She
not
put it down
thinking.
to take a fucking picture. It's the
Yeah,
biggest
oh.
moment of her fucking life.
Yeah. Oh, so
and
people are
idiots
oh,
are
okay.
fucking
okay.
freaking out. Who cares? If you give a fuck, okay? I mean, look, all right, fine. Here's what I'll say. If you served in the military, fine, you can fucking care. You can care, but even so, get over it, okay? What are you, fucking crazy? Do you have other shit going on in your life? If your life is so good that you give a fuck about this bitch dropping the American flag on the floor,
Yeah.
you have a very privileged life. You have to look in the mirror and go, well, you know what? I maybe have a lot of privilege.
No, I agree with that. And I also, I used to say about the Confederate flag people, it's like, fine, you're not automatically a racist if you like a Confederate flag. Fine, I'll accept that premise. A Confederate flag.
It's the best kind.
I'll accept that premise. I go, but
some
but you're
southern
just
dandy. Well, I would describe myself as a Confederate fag. If I were to wet my lips upon such words, I would say that I'm a Confederate flag.
Sounds like a gay supergroup.
But you're just
Sweet Homo Alabama.
You're just a nostalgia nerd. It's
Yeah.
just you're a nerd. You're a fucking nerd. Go to the Renaissance Fair, nerd. Who's all into this shit from however many years ago.
If
Go
you were
do a
just into
Civil
Confederate
War
flag, but you're
reenactment.
on. If you were just into like that,
The
like
flag used
stuff.
to have instructions. It would say you can't walk on the flag right on there. And there was a snake. And they took all that shit off. They're like, oh, people know. And it's like,
Yeah.
what happens? 100 years.
It's the Real Ass Podcast.
And then they start trolling, and I'm like, oh, it's funny. But then my friends get involved, and I'm like, fuck you guys.
Lois.
You know what the fuck I do?
Again, had you just said what the fuck you meant correctly, your friends would have trashed you. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No.
Yes.
They would trash me for something else.
See, now we're
You
getting
don't
into
know
we're getting into dad shit now.
What I am.
Let's talk
I've made
about
a
it.
career out of being trashed by my
Dad
friends.
never said good job, did he?
Dad was dead before I could have a memory of that.
All right, well, here we go. Now we're getting into the fucking meat of it. Maybe that's what you need to tweet.
What? My
Miss
dad
my
was
dad.
stabbed before he could say I love you? It's a fucking morbid tweet.
That's a fucking great tweet,
It
actually.
is.
My dad was stabbed to death before I could say I
Let me see how
love
many
you.
retweets I get. If I get more
Please
tweets.
tweet that. Please tweet that. My dad was stabbed to death before I could say I
My
love
dad
you.
was stabbed to death.
Not all caps. All caps is too aggressive.
He could say I love.
No, before I got to say I love you.
Before I got to say I love you.
Yeah,
That's it?
and make it your pinned tweet.
Let's put it right now.
See, now we're having fun.
Technically, it should be your bio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I just look. There we go. I just tweeted that.
It's the Real Ass Podcast.
And I'm just being a fucking internet troll. So that's why you texted me after you tweeted at me and you were like, dude, I don't want you to think I'm fucking with you. I'm just fucking around. And literally, I know you do the same thing.
Sure, yeah.
You like to troll. You like to say some provocative things. Sometimes I watch
Sure,
some of
of
your
course.
tweets sometimes, and it's just you being provocative. It's saying something you don't even agree with at all. It's sarcasm. You know, the people that won't understand the sarcasm are biting on the bait.
Right.
And then they all start, and it's funny and it's fun.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that South Park skank hunt, whatever, that episode.
Yeah.
Where the dad was just trying to articulate why he trolls on the internet.
But the thing, that gets too far into it where there's plenty of people in the alt-right that are like, it's just trolling. And it's like, well, you got a costume and went to a march. That's beyond like not being emotionally invested. It's like now,
well, that's the thing. That's getting off the.
You wrote an entire fucking book about.
You can't troll in real life. If you are trolling at the supermarket.
Yeah,
you're probably gonna.
You can troll in real life.
You can, but the
classic example is pulling your pants all the way down at the urinal. I think that's art. If you can commit to that, Regal Theaters, fucking 2.5 hour movie just gets out. You pull your pants.
42nd Street opening night, a fucking Medea movie.
You pull your pants all the way down to the floor at the urinal, and make everyone look at your ass.
Can we?
It's the Real Ass Podcast.
Jesus Christ! What the fuck did you do?
I got a little constipation going on.
I love this started with like, I never take care of myself. I don't work out. It's fine. Who cares?
It's shameful.
Try not to eat junk.
Yeah, you're just dying. You're gonna die on.
It's the Real Ass Podcast.
You guys put this in here. What happened with this kid who died and he wanted to have Spider-Man on his grave?
So basically, it was a child in England. He even had a Spider-Man themed funeral where they put like red and blue balloons on his casket. He was 4 years old, and then
do we have pictures? Anything? Can we see anything?
Of the funeral? No, but we have
the
a picture
body.
of the no, not the body.
See the
but
body?
This is the child.
This is the kid.
Right. So he asked to have.
It'd be great if the dad was kissing him like in the movie, where he's holding the kid upside down, fucking making out,
holding him by the ankles.
Yeah.
And so then the dad wanted to put Spider-Man on his tombstone, and Disney refused to allow it because they thought it would tarnish the brand.
They thought it would tarnish the brand.
They said they wants to preserve the innocence and magic of the company's characters.
Wait a minute. So hold on. Time out. Etching Spider-Man onto the grave of his son. They can choose that? You can't etch Spider-Man onto your grave?
I would just do it. I don't know why they asked Disney.
What
if
a
it would be
fucking
okay.
yeah! What are they gonna do? They can't. They're gonna come over with a fucking chisel and start just fucking chipping it away.
Right.
What could they do? They can't. You can't give a cease and desist to a fucking grave. That's crazy. There's no way that story is real.
Yeah, it's not a commercial.
It's got a bunch of quotes from actual Disney saying, like, quoting their policies. They even have a policy saying they won't allow any of their characters on headstones, cemetery, or other memorial markers.
But how would they know? How would they know?
Well, he asked the local council to decorate the gravestone because I suppose there's probably a council rule as to how much you're allowed to decorate a gravestone.
Right.
And then he was referred to Disney by the council, so he just
because
appealed to Disney.
they've been given a fucking season because Disney don't give a fuck. Because you're right, that's a business. The people who are in charge of those grave sites, but that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
But, I value the opinion of Disney more because that's a business and the father doesn't have a son anymore. So he went down.
He couldn't even raise the one he had.
He went down in the rankings.
But if we were talking about, to be honest with you, if we were talking about anything else except for this specific issue.
You said literally any issue, though.
Well, even this issue, I got to be honest with you, I trust the execs at Disney to just know a little bit more, Nick.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes you got to...
You're right. They made the right call, and this definitely doesn't...
Wasn't it? Do you remember the actual story, Jamie? Yeah. It's like personal experience with some pollutants or something like that in the river. But got into it anyway, made this amazing documentary. And watching people dismiss some of the stuff in the documentary was so surreal.
Oh, yeah.
They were lighting their tap water on fire. And I don't know if you saw that. But
I did see that, yeah. And that's crazy.
People literally were saying you could do that before the fracking. It's not because of the fracking.
Wow.
People were saying that. Like, okay, let's assume that's true. Let's just get crazy and assume that's true.
Yeah.
Their fucking water is on fire. That's the last shit that should be on fire, is the shit they use to put out fire.
Yeah.
If your goddamn water's on fire,
yeah.
Do you know how much shit has to be in your water for it to be on fire? Okay, what's going on here? And why are you so sure that this didn't come from fracking? And that you could always light your water on fire, and now you're telling us?
Yeah.
Like you use it and make videos about this before there was a fracking thing?
Yeah, show me a video that has that.
Let me see. Are you sure?
That would be interesting.
Are you really sure that have you tested the water? Are you a fucking scientist? Are you sitting over there with a lab coat and a fucking check sheet, making sure that the toxin levels are exactly the same before and after fracking? No, you're not. But why are you so interested? There's a thing that people do where they're like really interested in the interests of big business. And they want, they get, and regular people who don't even have a financial stake in that business will make up excuses for the business.
I know. It's crazy. Yeah.
What is that?
It's fear. It's just fear of losing jobs. Like people like losing jobs or losing